Space. Earth.
From the very beginning, the narrator sets the tone with the first two words, space and earth, which establishes the humorous nature of this game. This scene with the nuclear explosion and the people running away on fire is a direct reference to the Terminator movies from the 80s. More than just a reference, this gives the player direct information with regards to the time and place in which our story exists. Simple and to the point.
From the radioactive ashes of North America, a new breed of soldier is reborn.
A new breed of soldier is reborn. This line tells us of one of the significant changes that have occurred as a result of this conflict, and our story focuses on one of these soldiers.
Main cortex online. Theta waves at 4 pulses and rising.
Here we are introduced to our protagonist. In addition to seeing our protagonist for the first time, we are also shown that he is more powerful than the average person by receiving state-of-the-art cybernetic implants. The game goes one step further and even says so in the line of dialogue uttered by a scientist.
Cyber heart pumping at 130%. He's a strong one. Upload the program.
The Terminator-style music continues, and we are told our protagonist's name and that he is a Mark IV, which implies that he is a top-of-the-line model. The narration ends by firmly establishing Rex to be a badass. The game even goes so far as showing him standing in a few cool poses.
Wakey, motherfucker!
Here we are introduced to Spider, Rex's partner, with his very first line of dialogue establishing him as a smartass. This is a short conversation, but it helps to establish the relationship between Rex and Spider. They're quite comfortable with each other's sarcasm, which helps to define their relationship as friends. After their friendly banter, they get down to business.
Full lethal sanction enabled. Opposition is Black Sector threat. Repeat, Black Sector threat. Geneva Convention restrictions lifted.
The briefing that they receive from HQ is a very simple way of establishing a genuine threat from the enemy. The protagonists continue to discuss the seriousness of this threat, which helps to get that point across. The helo drone gets spotted, and the dialogue that follows implies that it's time to fight. Just like that thing in Central America is another movie reference, in this case being the movie Predator. The Predator reference continues with this upcoming gameplay section and background music. This is the very first time that the player actually plays the game. As a result, the gameplay itself is very simple, with only 3 controls being aiming, shooting, and moving the camera. There are no on-screen prompts or tutorials, and the player is left to figure things out for himself. Because of this, there's no heads-up display, no ammo count, and no health indicators. This is done so that the player can figure out the basic controls of shooting, which is the primary form of gameplay, in a fun and controlled environment. This section also serves to teach the player that enemies and explosives are highlighted in red. Another way of teaching the player without resorting to text prompts that would break the immersion. After you take down the second helicopter, a cutscene is triggered.
Shut us down now!
Proceeding to coordinates. I gotta do my shit. I'll find the bunker entrance.
And I'll provide the distraction. Let's show them how cyber commandos get it done.
Mark IV style, motherfucker!
The main theme of the game kicks in when Rex and Spider engage in a manly arm shake, another reference to Predator. The two split up, which allows the game to put the player in a position to learn the basic mechanics without having to worry about protecting an ally. After the nice little montage, the music hits a high point, and we finally see the title of this game.
Loading tutorial programs for Sergeant Rex Power Code.
Acknowledged. Loading basic tutorial batch 101 from Military Navigation for Idiots. Auto-holstering weapons for silent approach.
Oh, you fucking asshole.
Now have fun.
Ah, for fuck's sake.
Jump, if you wish to jump.
This next little tutorial section is a parody of most modern games and their tutorials. The screens that pop up are intentionally annoying, and Rex conveys most of what players are feeling in this situation. His reactions are hilarious, and his commentary is a way to make this section more funny than frustrating.
Just let me kill people, damn it.
To look around, look around.
This is not cool.
Moving allows you to go in many exciting directions.
Why?
Running is like walking, only faster.
After being taught the basics of walking, running, jumping, and crouching, the player is allowed to test running and jumping, and crouching in a controlled environment. Crouching while running results in a sliding animation. Also notice that whenever the player is crouched, there's a little icon on the bottom right that helps the player to figure that out. This next section is designed to teach the player stealth techniques, including stealth kills, distractions, and tracking enemies. Note that after you tag an enemy, if he is positioned behind an object or barrier, there's a color change that shows you this. Another subtle way of showing the player rather than telling them information. This is also a great feature to include in a stealth section since a first-person shooter has obvious camera limitations. By doing this, the player is not forced to constantly look at their minimap on the bottom left in order to track enemies that they can't see, as long as they're already tagged.
Spider, these guys are a mega force.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I got your back, bro.
You all sold, brother.
When the chain takedown prompt appears on screen, notice that some of the text is highlighted in green. This is another way of using color to identify important information by highlighting what the player needs to know.
So many men, so little time. Oh, nasty.
This next part that involves climbing also teaches the player by associating climbing with the presence of those glowing wires.
Loading more training hints from the ABCs of War.
And again, more tutorial screens, but the player can breeze through by focusing on the highlighted text instead of entire sentences. A few funny statements are thrown into the mix just to keep the player from getting annoyed or irritated.
This one is terrible.
After performing a blade takedown, you can shuriken a nearby enemy.
With that out of the way, the game introduces another controlled stealth kill sequence with the shuriken takedown, a useful skill that can take out enemies that are not as close to you for a chain takedown.
School's out for summer. School's out forever.
Suggestion: deactivate alarms to avoid enemy reinforcements.
Notice in the heads-up display that when your Cyber Eye is activated, there are icons on the top of the screen that show you the different enemy types and their respective symbols. Also, the map and weapons are disabled, and movement is significantly slowed down, as a means of balancing the effectiveness of this tool.
When the meter fills, the enemy can see you.
Enemies do not spot you right away. It does take some time, and it is also based on the distance from you and the enemy. If you were to get spotted right away, it would be too difficult and unrealistic, especially in the case of a first-person shooter.
Use the weapon wheel subroutine to access...
Notice that when the alarm is deactivated, that I nearly get spotted, which is indicated with a little ding sound effect.
Leave no enemies functioning.
Okay, let's do this.
Dead bodies are indicated with a pulsing blue texture effect.
I got this.
After this shuriken takedown, I've given away my position, and the stealth-based music fades out and is replaced with a more dramatic theme.
Holy crap.
The player is rewarded for his skill, as headshots give twice the cyber points of a standard kill. When the character gets close to cover, he pulls his weapon back instead of aiming it directly ahead. This animation also serves to teach the player how to aim behind cover. All of the objects and interactive things in this game are highlighted with some bright light or color, such as this ladder, for example.
Peekaboo.
When you reach the last two enemies, the game highlights them as objective markers. This releases some of the tension and lets the player know that they're close to success.
Objective complete.
Briar Patch, why didn't you tell us this was a Megaforce?
This next conversation with Briar Patch and Spider indicates that there is a direct relationship between Rex and the enemy forces, specifically their leader, Colonel Sloan. While the player has not actually met the antagonist yet, they've already begun to develop his character.
No way he went rogue. Not him.
You ready to put a bullet in the big man?
Let's just get to the mainframe and figure out what the hell is going on.
Who's this shit?
This next section is an escort section, but the escort doesn't get in the way, so it's not irritating like in other games, and the player is introduced with another opportunity to do a chain takedown.
Reminder, after a blade takedown, you can chain kill nearby enemies.
After the chain takedown, the player is introduced to a new enemy type, the Heavy, which is highlighted in green instead of red. The Heavy is best killed with explosives, as the HUD conveniently lets you know.
What are they building here? I mean, that's a high-speed heterodyne 8000 assembly. Those things killed all the goddamn factory jobs in Detroit. You get to that catwalk. Sweep and clear all those motherfuckers.
After Spider breaches the next door, the player is introduced to a stealth section that features differences in height as an additional variable to combat.
When I find you again, it's all of these sleep. Move, motherfucker!
A new method of killing enemies is shown by simply falling on top of them. Also, note that when the alarm is set off, both enemies and alarm locations are displayed on your minimap, regardless of whether you've tagged enemies or not. This section also displays some crates that you can loot, just like bodies, for cash. If you look at Spider's location on the minimap, his arrow is blue instead of red to represent an ally. The color also fades out if he's in a different height from the player. The same fading effect applies to the enemies as well.
yeah.
You finally enter the next room, and the first thing that is shown is a giant rocket, which shows the very real threat and danger that the enemy poses, and the importance of the player's actions in stopping the enemy.
Whew. That's a high-orbit red spear. Thought all those motherfuckers were decommissioned.
Last I heard, we were still using them. Testing payload dispersal up in the Canadian wastelands.
What kind of payloads?
I don't think I want to know.
Objective complete. Mainframe located.
There it is.
We found the mainframe.
Secure that intel.
Work your black magic, Lieutenant.
Hey, don't be hating a brother for his skills now.
Alert. Unauthorized access detected. Kimball bunker. Enter passcode.
You have 20 seconds to comply.
Spider.
I know. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Failsafe countermeasures active. Beginning pre-launch diagnostics. Initiating decapitation strike protocols.
The helo's picking up multiple heat signatures converging on you.
It's moving into position, Lieutenant. I'll cover you.
Spider's hack is unsuccessful, and Rex is forced to protect him while he continues to work. They have a few more lines of conversation that offers some cliché one-liners, and continues to build on the relationship between the two.
If this don't work, you tell them. You tell them I died for my country.
Tell her that yourself. You hear me?
Right. Here goes the fist jam. There it is. I penetrated the first layer of microchip bots.
In this next section, you're pinned down near Spider's location. At this point, the enemy is very aggressive, and having to protect Spider adds tension to the battle. As you make progress with killing the enemies, Spider's dialogue is a very subtle way of showing the player how close they are to the end of the battle, more effective than displaying a number of enemies remaining counter.
I'm through the rampart. Need more time. Reversing the code polarity. Almost there. I'm recoding the CPU sockets.
Hurry!
Hey, rush protection, baby.
There's no way around it.
Just a few more seconds.
Objective complete.
I did it! Yeah!
Objective failed.
What?
Pre-launch checklist complete. Coordinates uploaded.
Spider! Focus, Lieutenant. What am I supposed to do?
Spider's hack is once again unsuccessful, and he becomes disabled as a result. Rex now has to disable the missile manually. Also, if you've ever wondered why he's called Spider, he has a tattoo of a spider on his neck, and his face mask has the same hourglass shape that is on the abdomen of a Black Widow spider. Spider also has a few lines of dialogue that foreshadow certain events that will happen in the future when he talks about blood and brain cages.
What?
Out the ignition controls on the control box. Shoot the brain cage, Rex. Shoot the.
Shit! HUD, locate the missile control panel for me.
5x5. Highlighting objective. Objective. Disable secondary ignition controls.
Missile in position. Decapitation strike countdown continuing. Memory corruption in Sector Alpha.
When you start this next section, the initial countdown provides some tension for the player, along with the many enemies swarming towards your position. However, as time goes by, the countdown starts to get more ridiculous as the different sections of memory get corrupted. Also, note that the very last section of memory to be corrupted is section Whiskey, Tango, Foxtrot, or WTF.
Memory corruption in Sector Tango, Kilo, Oscar. Countdown revived.
T-minus 15 seconds to launch.
Memory corruption in Sector Whiskey, Tango, Foxtrot. Countdown revised.
T-minus 40 seconds to launch.
Ignition controls offline. Countdown aborted.
Rex succeeds in disabling the missile and waits for extraction. If he's to be picked up at this point, then it's the end of that particular conflict in gameplay. However, the helo drone gets shot out of the sky and Rex is knocked out. Thanks to this turn of events, the conflict continues, and the story stays on the island, which is convenient for gameplay as well.
HUD rebooting. Stand by.
Rex and Spider end up being captured by the enemy, and we are introduced to two characters, Dr. Darling and Colonel Sloan. The choice of words and a few lines of dialogue between Darling and Sloan shows a bit of hostility in their relationship, when he says her name casually and she immediately corrects him.
Colonel Sloan, it's us. Sergeant Rex Power Colt, Lieutenant T.T. Brown.
Of course. They sent you boys after me. Now that right there is the definition of insanity. Darling, you are looking at two genuine Mark IVs. Top of the line. In their day.
I know what happened to your face.
Price of power, boys. She's a mean, demanding bitch. She's a wildcat in the sack.
Sir, what happened? They said you went off the reservation. It's gotta be a mistake.
Ever since the nuking of Canada and the invasion of Australia, the world's been floundering something fierce. We've lost our way, gentlemen. And now the government, our government, talks reconciliation with the Red Menace. But I have a means to redress the balance.
Here, Sloane's character is immediately established as very arrogant, self-centered, and egotistical. When Rex asks Sloan to explain himself, he provides both backstory and his motivation in just a few lines of dialogue. Very simple and effective. He proceeds to interrogate them and kill Spider due to the knowledge that is stored in his brain. Sloan perceives Rex as being weak and knocks him out.
Your Mark IVs were smart, but way too independent-like.
What the fuck?
Ooh, yeah. Anyone can cross the line or be taken offline. No! You are dead. I imprinted you Mark IVs with all my combat savvy, right?
This next scene is incredibly well designed. Rex wakes up in a cave and is contacted by Dr. Darling. She explained the situation and her ridiculously simple motivation for wanting to help him. This sequence is an excellent way of introducing the Blood Dragons from both a story and gameplay perspective. The first hint is given via a roar from a distant dragon, and Rex has an appropriate reaction.
What the hell was that?
I'm sending you coordinates to a safe location.
And why should I trust you?
Because I hate Sloan.
Oh. Okay, Doc, what's the plan?
Stay low and stay quiet. The blood dragons have poor eyesight and a hunger for humans and cyborgs.
What? Hello? Fuck.
Dr. Darling gives some basic information about the blood dragons to try and help, but you can hear the panic in Rex's voice, especially considering that he's unarmed. Just before leaving the cave, the player is introduced to the first collectible item in the game. This is another controlled scenario, giving this first item away as a freebie to teach the player. When Rex exits the cave, he has his first encounter with a blood dragon. The way that this is done is incredibly effective. First, he spots a trail of blue goo, which we figure out to be cyber blood when half a carcass falls from above. When Rex looks up and sees the dragon for the first time, the dragon smoothly changes from a calm color to a more aggressive one. This camera angle is also very effective at showing Rex to be weak and the dragon to be powerful by literally looking down at the player. The sound effects and the colors help to establish this fantastic scene as a truly memorable event.
Dr. Darling mentioned they possess poor eyesight. Crouching may be advisable. The creature is emitting bioradiation. I've calibrated your scanner to alert you to their presence.
This gameplay section is designed to teach the player how to deal with the blood dragons in a controlled fashion. The first dragon is stationary, so the player just has to walk around it. The second dragon is designed to cross the player's path once they pass the rock on the right, teaching the player to avoid a moving dragon. The final dragon is designed to teach the player how to lure dragons towards or away from a location by using cyber hearts collected from those conveniently placed dead bodies.
That thing's in my way, god damn it. What now?
Detecting heightened olfactory capabilities. Throwing cyber hearts may lure the dragon away.
Don't mind me. Yeah. Go fetch.
Objective. Move to the designated vantage point. I recommend collecting more cyber hearts.
The dragons are also displayed on the mini-map with a double arrow icon. They are the only enemy type that is represented with 2 arrows. Also note that there are 3 health bars for 3 different dragons. In order to tell which one belongs to which, the health bar will become highlighted by a shade of green when your targeting reticle is facing that specific dragon.
Just remember, the shield protects the soldiers inside from the dragons, but it won't stop the dragons' laser fusion blasts.
They're what? Hello? Damn it.
Reminder. Throw a cyber heart at the markers I've indicated.
This next scenario shows that you can use dragons to attack enemies that are inside of a shield. Since you are unarmed, this is an appropriate time to teach the player this gameplay tactic.
Holy shit.
Omega Force soldiers just arrived. I'm not supposed to be here. Oh no. They're rounding up the scientists.
Then get out.
Not if you want a shot at Sloan. You need to secure the garrisons for supplies.
Detecting weapons in the bunker that you can use.
Another broken heart. Don't mind me.
The dragons will hear you if you do not crouch. Objective. Use cyborg vision to tag hostiles in the base from the overlook. Objective. You have several options in securing garrisons. You can kill all hostiles yourself, you can lure the dragons to the main gates, or you can bring down the mega shield. This will attract nearby dragons to the garrison automatically. Ooh, or perhaps you can...
For fuck's sake, shut up, HUD. I do what I want.
Understood. Just keep in mind that there are two ways to turn off the mega shields, through either the console or directly at the generator, which you can also destroy.
Blah, 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 kill, blah, blah, blah.
After receiving some new weapons, the player is introduced to his first garrison liberation. The game suggests more than once that destroying the Mega Shield generator is the best strategy to use. The conveniently placed explosives and dragon help to motivate the player to take this course of action.
So, open the laser shield thingy so those dragons can come in. Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Garrison mega shields deactivated. Garrison mega shields deactivated.
Doc, you someplace safe?
I am. This is going to get bloody and messy fast.
Those happen to be my two favorite things.
As the dragon wreaks havoc on base, notice the color changes that it undergoes. It has three primary colors: green for calm, yellow for a cautionary state, and red for aggression. These colors are also utilized to explain Rex's current state as well, through his cybernetic left arm. In addition to the colors, Rex's lights also pulse at a faster rate when there is a threat present.
Reminder, you can use cyber hearts to lure the dragon out of the garrison.
Come on, come on.
Reactivating mega shields. It appears to be over, Sergeant. I think it's time we meet.
Send me your location, and I'm on my way.
Coordinates received. Objective, rendezvous with Dr. Elizabeth Darling. Objective complete.
Are you okay?
Yes, thank you.
What are those things?
We're not sure. Perhaps a living fossil from the early Cretaceous period. We call them blood dragons. BDs for short. When Sloan drank their blood, it supercharged his cybernetics.
You drank their blood? Is that a joke?
No, Sergeant. If it is a joke, I'm afraid it's a bad one. The blood supercharged Sloan. making him even more powerful.
And one ugly motherfucker. Why are you helping Sloan? And what does he want with that rocket?
Sergeant, slow down, please. We were using the rockets to test biochemical payloads of the dragon's blood.
Rockets? As in more Red Spears? How many?
I don't know. A lot. I don't think Sloan is interested in tests anymore. And I don't even want to get into what it does to normal people.
That's why he went AWOL?
Sergeant, Sloan wasn't entirely there.
After securing the base, Rex meets up with Dr. Darling. She explains that Sloan and the Blood Dragons have a direct relationship, being the source of his power and his insanity. He's planning to dominate the world by using the blood and the rockets on the world's population. Thinking that he could use the help, she offers the same power to Rex, but he denies it, saying that winners don't use drugs. This is a reference to old arcade games that posted an FBI disclaimer with the same phrase. Dr. Darling informs Rex of 3 top-secret facilities to attack, which are the next 3 story levels. The cutscene ends with a shot of Dr. Darling looking at an eye in a liquid solution, which is a subtle way of showing her skill with cybernetics. Asking if Rex is married shows that she has an interest in him and serves as more character development.
Just as long as Sloan doesn't realize I'm helping you. Good luck.
When you clear a garrison, like this one, secondary missions will become available at the adventure cabinet.
Now that you have your weapons back, the game decides to teach you about side missions. It has you doing the first side mission as a tutorial section before letting you loose on the others. The game gives you great incentive for doing these missions along with the other activities. Along with cash bonuses and cyber points, the missions help unlock weapon upgrades, which will come in handy over the course of the game. It also mentions that acquiring collectibles can help with your progress, but we'll leave that for another video. The first side mission has you rescuing a hostage and killing all of his captors. It's located conveniently close to the garrison you just liberated, so it's not a boring trek through the wilderness. This is a good test of the player's stealth skills.
D20s, or nerd rocks, are good for distracting cyberhuman enemies.
When the player levels up, Rex makes a gesture with his left hand. The leveling system in this game is linear, with abilities unlocking in a specific order. Just a minor complaint. I'm intentionally avoiding talking to the scientist until I have collected all the nearby loot, because once you talk to him, the fast travel tutorial takes over and forces you to leave the area. So there's no chance of collecting all of the stuff that was dropped if you talk to him first. This is the only exception with regards to the hostage missions and collecting loot.
Can I speak with you? Excellent. Over here. Come here a moment, will you? Can I speak with you? You saved me! Huzzah!
To use the patented Kobayashi Corporation instant travel system, open the map, select a liberated garrison, and press the relevant buttons. Kobayashi Corporation Fast Travel. Now 85% accurate, with only 10% genetic degradation.
Neato.
As per the War Games Act, all secondary activities reward you with attachments and credits at a friendly garrison's shop.
If guns make me safe, bigger guns make me safer.
When you are running low on your supplies of lethal killing implements, like ammo, travel to a friendly garrison to resupply at the shop.
After the fast travel segment, we are treated to one last tutorial about the stores and buying items and upgrades. The first item you buy is a suppressor for the pistol, which makes it the only silenced gun in the game.
To summarize, securing garrisons unlocks shops, secondary activities, and fast travel points. Secondary activities reward you with attachments, weapons, and ammo at the nearest shop. And all those things combined make for a happy and functional...
After you buy the suppressor and exit the store, the game tells you that it is in your best interest in liberating garrisons, doing side missions, acquiring collectibles, and so on. From this point, the tutorials have ended and the game cuts the player loose to explore the island at his own pace. That's the end of this part. The next few parts will go over garrisons, side missions, and collectibles.